My brother lost his job. So I took in his whole family, paid every bill. Then at dinner, he toasted to once loyal, our pathetic sugar daddy. They all laughed. Then he sneered. Let's be honest, what else has he got? No wife, no kids, just his sad little life and spare change. Even his bratty teen daughter laughed in my face. I stared them down and said, enjoy your last free meal ever. 2 days later, while they were out, I cleared the house, hired movers to pack their crap, changed all the locks, terminated every credit card, subscription, and service I was covering, including their phones. Then I had all their belongings dumped at the sketchiest motel in town, along with a printed invoice for every dime they owed me, down to the last roll of toilet paper. Yesterday, he showed up looking broken. He fell to his knees on my porch and cried out, once loyal, please. I'm begging you, man. So, IDK if this is even the right sub or if I just need to vent or what. But this is a whole mess and I'm just mad. I'm not really expecting advice. Just need to get it out there somewhere. See if I'm losing it. I'll try to keep it short, but TBH, there's a lot here. And it's not like I have anyone to talk to about it IRL because, well, you'll see. So, I 34M have always been the boring guy in my family. IDK, oldest kid, never married, no kids, never liked parties or any of that. My brother Stephen, 31M, is kind of the opposite. Married to Linda, 2 kids. Ava, 16, F, Xander, 14M, always the fun brother, even when we were kids, but also the type who doesn't really finish thing. Always chasing some big plan, always needs a little help. We haven't been close since we were teens, but we're not enemies or anything, just very different. So, about 3 months ago, Stephen calls me out of the blue, which is already weird. He's like, hey, man. Things are rough. Lost my job. Landlord's selling. Can't stay with Linda's family. Long story. I think her dad hates him. Not my business. He says they're out of options. Nowhere to go. And could they crash at mine for a while? I'm not exactly rolling in it, but I've got a house and a spare room, so whatever. I say, yeah, I figure a few weeks, maybe a month tops. I'm not heartless. And my parents are in Florida now, so there's not really another place for them to go, unless you count that weird cousin in Wisconsin who collects swords, which no thanks. Anyway, so they show up and it's fine for the first week. They're a bit loud. Ava doesn't really say hi. Xander is glued to his tablet, but I'm not expecting hugs or anything. I move my stuff out of the spare room. They take over my bathroom. I start buying more groceries, paying for extra data on the Wi-Fi, whatever. I'm not loving it, but it's family, right? I even pick up takeout a few times. Not cheap, but I don't want to be the guy who makes a big deal out of every dinner. But after that first week, it's like they just settle in. Linda starts putting her own stuff in my fridge, like fancy oat milk and those overpriced yogurt drinks. I notice my coffee is disappearing way faster. I joke once about how I don't remember buying so much kombucha, and she just laughs and says, oh, it's good for the kids. Cool, I guess. Ava starts leaving her shoes everywhere. Xander never picks up after himself, and I swear, every time I sit down in the living room, someone else is already there. Feet on my table, headphones blasting TikTok videos. I try to keep the peace. I'm not a neat freak, but it's getting to me. Then Stephen starts hinting at stuff like, oh, my car needs gas, but money's tight. Could you spot me? Or, hey, the kids are out of data. Can you help? It's always small, but it adds up. I'm not made of money, but I don't want to make it weird. So, I pay. I pay for gas, for snacks, for random Amazon stuff that just shows up and they say, oh, it's for school. I pay for a new Netflix account because apparently my old one didn't have the right shows. I pay for takeout again and again. I know I should say something, but it's always awkward timing. Like, they're already eating or Linda is on the phone with her mom or the kids are fighting about who gets the charger. Through all this, Stephen's job search is IDK. He says he's looking, but I never once see him on a laptop or anything. He's usually just on his phone scrolling or talking about how the job market sucks. Linda says she's helping too, But honestly, she spends half her day on Pinterest or talking about how this is just temporary. I start to notice they aren't really trying to move out like at all. Still, I keep telling myself just a bit longer. I even set up a little calendar in the kitchen, wrote move out goal for the end of the next month, trying to be subtle. Nobody mentions it. I feel like I'm living with ghosts that eat all my food and ruin my couch cushion. I start going to the gym more just to get out of the house. So, tonight I make dinner for everyone. Nothing fancy, just pasta and salad. But it's a lot because, well, 4 extra people. I figure maybe we can finally talk about the plan, see where they're at, see if they've got any job lead. I'm tired of feeling like an ATM. But I'm also not trying to start a fight. So, we eat and it's awkward. Just phones out, nobody talking except Xander, who keeps showing Ava some meme. I try to break the silence, ask if anyone has any updates, but everyone kind of shrugs. And then out of nowhere, Steven stands up with his glass. It's just soda, but he clinks it anyway. And goes, "Here's to once loyal, our pathetic sugar daddy." He does this big fake bow, and everyone laughs. Ava actually snorts and goes, "At least he's good for one thing." Even Linda laughs. And I swear she looks right at me like I'm supposed to find this funny. Then Steven keeps going like he's doing stand-up or something. Let's be honest, what else has he got? No wife, no kids, just his sad little life and spare change. All he's got is us, right? More laughing. Ava goes, "Don't forget his weirdly full fridge." Xander says something about old people and I don't even catch it. I just sit there staring at them and it's like I'm not even in my own house. They're all laughing and I'm just background noise the free ride. I get up, push my chair back and say, "Enjoy your last free meal ever." Nobody really reacts. They just kind of roll their eyes. Ava mutters something about, "Chill out. It's a joke." I go to my room, slam the door. I can hear them laughing still like nothing happened. I can't even describe how pissed off I am. Like, I get that I'm not the fun brother. But since when did that mean I'm just a punching bag? I've been paying for every single thing for months and this is how they see me. Not even a thanks. Just jokes about how worthless I am. I'm not even sure why Steven hates me so much. Maybe it's always been there. IDK. Maybe he just can't stand that I'm not as much of a mess as him. Or maybe he's just mad that I'm not struggling. It's like he wants me to feel bad for not having a family. Like that's some huge failure. I'm done. I'm just done. I've let this go on way too long and I'm not about to just sit here and take it. I don't even care if it's petty. I'm not their sugar daddy. I'm not their doormat. And I'm definitely not their joke. They want to see what happens when I decide I'm not playing along. Cool. Let's see how funny they think it is when the free ride ends for real. I'll update if anything actually happens. But Ingla, next time they laugh, it won't be at my expense. Update 1. Alright, here's the update. And yeah, it's long, but this is honestly just me trying not to totally lose it. If you didn't see my first post, my brother Steven, his wife Linda, their kids, Ava, and Xander, all crashed at my place after he lost his job. I covered everything. Food, bills, rides, endless Wi-Fi, all of it. Last night, he basically called me a sad sugar daddy to my face over dinner. The kids laughed. Linda didn't even blink. I said, "Enjoy your last free meal ever." They ignored that. I guess they thought I was bluffing. Turns out I wasn't. So, the weird part is after that whole dinner, nobody acted like anything happened. I was in my room and I could hear Ava playing music on her phone. Xander yelling about some Discord thing and Linda was on the phone with her mom saying something about once loyal's in a mood again. Just ignore him. I'm just lying there staring at the ceiling thinking, do they even care or is this like normal to them? I actually heard Ava say in the hall, "He's just mad because he's alone all the time." Not even whispered. Just loud. I don't know why that stuck in my head, but it did. The next morning, I get up early and go to the kitchen. The place is trashed. Wrappers everywhere. Empty cans. Someone left pasta in the sink. Who does that? I'm making coffee and Steven strolls in. All casual like nothing happened. He grabs a banana, goes, "You're not still mad about last night, right?" It was just a joke. I just say nothing and watch him walk out. I can hear him laughing to himself. That's when I realize they really don't care. To them, I'm not family. I'm just background, a wallet with a house. And honestly, I think Stephen resents me because I never needed him. But he's always needed me. He hates that I don't have kids or a wife. Like it's some failure or something. He's always been like this. Even when we were kids, he'd break something, blame me, and then act like I was uptight for getting mad. So, I start making a list, literally on my phone in notes. Everything I've paid for since they moved in. Groceries, gas, takeout, data. That one time I bought Ava those dumb headphones because she said her old ones sucked. It's a long list. While I'm doing this, I hear Xander yelling from the living room. "Once loyal, you forgot to buy more cereal." Ava says, "I told you he doesn't care about us." I almost laugh. So, I start thinking, what would get their attention? Just cutting off Netflix or Wi-Fi is nothing. They'll just guilt trip or whine. I need to make it so they have to actually deal with their own lives. So, I start checking stuff, whose names are on what cards they have, what subscriptions I'm paying for. Turns out it's pretty much all of it, even their cell plans. I don't even remember agreeing to that. But I did. I call a locksmith. I say I need my locks changed ASAP, and they say they can come out in 2 days, which is perfect. I schedule it for the afternoon, right after Linda's usual errand run. She leaves with the kids around 2, always gone for hours, probably at the mall or her friend's place. I text a moving company and ask if they can come by that same day. Box everything up. Nothing heavy, just clothes, electronics, shoes, random kid crap. They say sure if I can pay up front. I do. I don't even care about the money anymore. I just want them out. I check the motel reviews near my place, looking for the absolute worst one that's still open. I find one 2M away. Smells like cigarettes and sadness, but it's cheap and takes cash. I book 2 rooms one night, leave the rest to them. I call the front desk, tell them to expect a delivery of boxes for the Stephen party, get a grunt and a whatever. Fine. I start gathering all their stuff, making piles in the garage when no one's around. It's a lot. Ava has like 6 pairs of shoes. Xander's got a whole collection of gaming stuff, and Linda has more hair products than a salon. The whole morning I'm waiting for someone to say something, but they're just doing their own thing. Stephen is on the couch scrolling his phone, not even pretending to look for jobs. Linda is on the phone with her sister talking about how she can't wait to get out of here. I almost want to laugh. Ava is watching TikTok. Xander is yelling into his headset, and I'm just quietly moving their stuff out one armful at a time. Nobody notices. The next weird thing is I catch Ava in my room. She's sitting at my desk using my laptop, logged into my email. I ask her what she's doing and she just shrugs, says, "I needed to print something for school." When I look, she's shopping for makeup. I tell her to get out. She rolls her eyes, slaps the desk, and storms out. I hear her muttering about how I'm so dramatic. I'm just done. The last straw is when Stephen comes in and asks if I can advance him next week's help for family stuff. I just say, I can't. I'm cutting back. He gets pissy and goes, "Yeah, right. What else are you spending it on?" Then he tries to push past me to the fridge, bumps into me, and I just stand there. He laughs, says, "Don't have to get all alpha, bro." I don't say anything. He slams the fridge and leaves. So that night, I sit down and type up an info. Every dollar, every snack, every stupid thing I bought for them, even the toilet paper. I print it out, all 2 pages. I put it in a folder and set it by the garage door. I start pulling their chargers, their shoes, anything that's not nailed down, and stack it by the door. I don't sleep much, but I don't care. The next morning, I call the sale provider and transfer their lines to prepaid. I give them 2 days' notice so they'll have time to switch if they want, but I'm not paying. I cancel the grocery delivery, cancel the streaming, cancel the extra Wi-Fi. I leave my own stuff alone. I put a sticky note on the TV. "Not your toy anymore." I know it's petty, but I want them to see it. The day of, I tell them I'm getting the carpets cleaned and they have to be out by noon. Linda complains, says it's inconvenient, but I just say, it's my house. Deal with it. She slams the door. Stephen mutters, whatever, we'll go out. I watch them pile into the car, fighting as usual. And as soon as they're gone, the movers show up. I tell them, pack everything labeled with blue tape, nothing else. They're surprisingly fast. In 2 hours, the place is empty except for my stuff. They ask where to take it. I say the motel, give them the address, hand them cash, and tip them extra to not ask questions. They're happy. The locksmith comes, changes the locks, hands me new keys. I open every window to air out the house, wipe down the counters, and just sit for a second. It's quiet. First time in months. I actually hear birds. I can't remember the last time that happened. I drive to the motel, talk to the guy at the desk, hand him the folder, and say, when the family named Stephen comes in, give them this with their keys. He shrugs, says, sure, I don't care. I go home, order takeout, and eat it at my own table for the first time since they moved in. I hear my phone buzzing, calls from Stephen, texts from Linda. Even Ava tries to DM me on Insta. I turn my phone off. I don't owe them any. Around 8, I hear a knock on the door. It's my neighbor, Mrs. Garcia, from across the street. She says, once loyal, your family is on the porch. They look upset. I tell her, thanks. Don't worry. I've got it. She just nods and goes home. I don't open the door. I watch through the peephole as Stephen tries the knob, then bangs on the window. Linda is yelling at him. Ava is crying. Xander is just sitting on the steps with his hood up. After a while, they leave. My mom calls later, says she got a weird message from Linda about me kicking them out. I tell her what happened. She sighs and says, well, Stephen's always been like that. She doesn't tell me I did the right thing. But she doesn't say I'm wrong either. She just says, take care of yourself, once loyal. I say, yeah, you too. So, now I'm just waiting to see what happens next. I know this isn't over. I know Stephen won't just let it go, but for the first time in forever, I actually feel like I did something for myself. Maybe it's petty. Maybe it's overkill. But go, I don't care. I'm not a doormat. Not anymore. I'll update again if anything goes down. But I'm not backing down. Not this time. Update 2. So yeah, if you saw my other posts, you know the setup. Brother's family mooching, treating me like a joke. Then he toasts me as pathetic sugar daddy in front of everyone. I said last free meal ever and actually meant it. This is how it actually played out, which was way more awkward and tense than I even expected. And jail. So, the morning of I'm already up before anyone. Just pacing, double-checking everything. Movers are coming at noon, locksmith at 2, and I'm still finding random crap in places I didn't even know they'd been. Like, why is Xander's hoodie on my closet floor? Why are there hair ties in the freezer? Whatever. I keep waiting for that moment where I doubt myself and back down, but it never comes. I just keep thinking about that dinner and how they all laughed like it was nothing. Even now, I can hear Ava's voice in my head. That snotty, oh my god, once loyal is so extra. I guess I am. So, by 10, Linda is already up and stomping around because she can't find her charger. She asks if I've seen it, and I just say, nope. Which is true because I shoved all their chargers in a bag and duct taped it shut. She stares at me for a second like she's waiting for me to apologize or something, then just sigh and opens the fridge. She looks at the sticky note on the milk, not yours, and rolls her eyes. I actually have to walk away so I don't laugh. She calls for Stephen, who's still asleep, and starts ranting about how she hates it here. How ungrateful. I hear her slam the bathroom door. I hear Xander and Ava arguing in the hall about who used up all the phone data. I just sit at the table sipping coffee, waiting for them to leave for their usual errand. Linda makes a big show of sighing and saying, we're going out. Let us know if you need anything. I say, sure. She slams the front door. Movers show up right on time. I hand them the blue tape and explain. Anything with tape. It goes. They're fast, not super chatty, but one of the guys cracks up when he sees the pile of shoes. I tell him, yeah. They collect them like it's their job. He just shrugs and keeps working. Honestly, it's weird seeing my house empty out so quick. Feels like I'm finally getting air back in the place. They're careful with the TV. Wrap it up. Box up the kitchen stuff. All the kids' gaming junk. Even the half-used shampoo bottles. I don't care. I said everything. I leave my own stuff untouched. I'm not that crazy. While they're working, I start going through drawers and just finding more stuff that's not mine. Like, how did I even let it get this far? I keep thinking about past years. Stephen always showing up when he needed something. Always making me feel like the boring one for not having a real family. But when it came down to it, I was always the backup plan. I guess he figured I'd always just take it. The movers finish up around 1 o'clock. I pay them, tip them, and give them the motel address. It's not far, but it's a world away from here, if you know what I mean. I hand them the folder with the invoice and tell them to give it to the motel clerk. They nod like they've seen weirder. Maybe they have. Locksmith comes right after, changes out all the locks, hands me new keys. I ask him if anyone's ever locked out family before, and he just smiles and says, more than you think. I believe it. It's weirdly quiet after. I open windows, play music, clean the kitchen for the first time, and I order myself actual food. No takeout for 4, just what I want. I even sit on the couch and actually watch the game, which I haven't done since they moved in. Then about 3, my phone starts blowing up. First, it's Linda calling, then Stephen, then Ava. I let it go. Then the texts start. Where are our things? Did you seriously move our stuff? Are you kidding me? Once loyal, answer your phone right now. It just keeps going. I turn the sound off and just scroll Reddit. About 4:30, I hear pounding on the door. I look outside and there they are standing on the porch, bags in hand. Stephen already red in the face, Linda yelling at him. Ava's on her phone. Xander just sits on the step, not saying anything. I don't open the door. I just stand there watching them through the peephole. Eventually, Stephen starts yelling for me, saying they need to talk. This isn't funny. I can't just do this. I hear Linda say, I told you he was unstable. I don't even react. They try the windows, try the back door, nothing. Ava starts crying, or at least making a lot of noise about it. Xander kicks at the porch rail. After maybe 20 minutes, they give up and walk away, dragging their bags. I see them get into the car, Stephen's old Beater, which I'm honestly surprised is still running, and drive off. Next thing, I get a call from my mom. She's out of state, like I said, but she says Linda messaged her saying I threw them out on the street. I tell her what really happened. She sighs and goes, once loyal, I wish you'd called me first, but I get it. She doesn't take sides, just says, you both need to grow up. Classic mom move. Later that night, I check my email and see a message from Linda. This is beyond petty. We have nowhere to go. You need to fix this. I reply with a PDF of the invoice and the motel address. I tell her, your stuff's all there. 1 night paid. After that, not my problem. She doesn't reply. For the rest of the night, it's quiet. I expect them to come back, bang on the door, cause a scene. Nothing. I guess they're at the motel figuring out their next move. I order pizza, watch Netflix, and actually relax for the first time in months. The next day, I get a DM from Ava's Insta. She made a new one since I had to turn off their phone service. Her post is just a crying selfie with the caption, "Some people are monsters." I scroll past. Xander doesn't message me, but I get a notification that he tried to sign into my Wi-Fi again. Denied. I go outside and see the neighbors sort of watching me like they want to ask what happened. Nobody does, but I see Mrs. Garcia giving me a thumbs up from her porch. I guess word gets around. By afternoon, I get a text from Stephen. It's long rambling. Says I'm ruining the family. Says he always knew I'd do something like this. Says he's never forgiving me. I just reply, pay me back and we're even. Nothing else. Nobody else shows up that day. The house is quiet. Actually feels like mine again. I'm not going to pretend I don't feel a little weird about it. Kicking out your own family isn't exactly a flex. But after everything they said to me, I can't even imagine letting them back in. So, that's where it's at. Their stuff is at the motel. Their free ride is over, and I finally have my house to myself. I don't know what they'll do next, but they know I'm done being their doormat. I know some people will say I went too far, but honestly, I did what I had to do. I'm not a villain for having boundaries, and I'm not about to let anyone, not even family, treat me like garbage in my own house. I'm sure this isn't the end, though. If Steven shows up again, I'll let you all know, but for now, I'm actually just relieved. Anyway, thanks for reading. I know it's messy, and I know there are probably people who think I'm in the wrong, but after that dinner, I just snapped. I'm not sorry, and I'm not going back. Final update. So, yeah, here's how it all ended up. Last post had them out. Stuff at the motel, me back in my own house for the first time in forever. Angel. I thought I'd feel more triumphant or whatever after all that, but honestly, the next day was just weirdly quiet. No mess, no yelling, no drama, just me and my own crap. I even slept in just because I could. But it didn't last. Yesterday morning, I noticed weird stuff out front, like random energy drink cans in the gutter, empty chip bag on my steps. I figured it was kids, but when I took the trash out, I saw footprints leading back and forth on the sidewalk like someone was pacing. Not exactly subtle. I guess I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when. I was half watching the news, scrolling on my phone when I heard banging. Not like a normal knock, more like someone was just leaning on the bell and pounding at the same time. I check the peephole. Steven's out there and he looks rough. Not just tired, but like he hasn't slept at all. Clothes wrinkled, hair all over, just staring at the ground. I open the door a crack and he just kind of stares at me, not saying anything. Then he drops to his knees on the porch, hands pressed together, and basically just starts begging. Once loyal, please. I'm begging you, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. His voice is all cracked like he's been yelling a lot or maybe crying. I didn't even know what to do for a second. Nail, it was awkward as hell. He's going on about how he can't do this. He needs help. Linda's furious. The kids hate him. They can't stay at the motel. There's no money left. He says he can't get a hold of anyone else. Mom's not answering. Linda's dad told him to get lost. He says I'm the only one who ever gave a crap and he knows he messed up. But he's desperate and he's never been this desperate before. He says he'll pay me back. He'll do anything. Just please let them come back. Even for a night, he'll sleep on the floor. He's not even looking at me, just staring at the concrete, voice getting higher and higher. It's wild because this is the same dude who not even a week ago was making jokes about my life being pathetic. Now he's literally kneeling on my porch like we're in some bad movie. I just stand there, arms crossed, not saying much. I want to feel bad for him, but honestly, I'm still just pissed. All I can think about is that dinner. All the times he made me feel like crap for not being fun or having a family. Now he wants me to be the safety net again. I tell him, you made it clear what you think of me. I'm not your backup plan anymore. You owe me for everything and I'm done being used. I say, you can pay me back or you can leave, but you're not coming in. He actually grabs my ankle, which freaked me out a bit, and I have to shake him off. He raises his voice, says, this is your family, man. You can't just do this. What am I supposed to do? I just say, figure it out. Like I had to. Then I step back and close the door. Not slamming it, just shutting it. I stand there listening for a bit. He's just sobbing. Not even words, just ugly crying. After a while, I hear him walk off. I get a few texts later from Linda. Just walls of angry paragraphs about how I'm a monster. How could I do this to my own family? She's telling everyone what I did, etc., etc. Ava posts a TikTok about being betrayed by blood. And I get a text from Xander that makes zero sense. Just a bunch of emojis and you ruined everything. I block them all. My mom calls that night, asks if I'm okay. She says she talked to Stephen, but he didn't tell her much, just that things were bad. I tell her the whole story. She goes quiet, then says, sometimes you have to let people fall if they won't get up themselves. She says she's sorry it came to this, but she gets it. Honestly, I don't even know if I feel better. I don't feel worse either. Just lighter, I guess. Like, I finally did what I had to do. Even if it sucked. The house is back to normal. I've got my space and I'm not waiting for the next shoe to drop. I know they're probably telling everyone I'm the villain. I don't care anymore. So, yeah, that's it. I cut them off for real this time. I don't know where they'll end up. And I'm not planning to find out. I'm not their punchline or their safety net. And I'm not anyone's sugar daddy. I guess that's all there is. Thanks for reading if you made it this far. Not sure what comes next, but I'm not backing down.